Okay, we're going to look at why functions are fun, and then you'll be able to do some nice applications, some nice coding, which allows you to succeed and apply these functions in many different scenarios. So first off, in this case, we can actually start with a blank notebook. So here we can make some markdown. For instance, something like fun with functions, okay? Yeah, okay. So let's start out making our first function. So if we make a function, we need to start with the def command, or keyword. So this lets Python know that we're defining a function. Then we come up with a name, for instance, fun, okay? And then here we can put some argument, for instance, in this case, a name. So now the second part, we start with the def part. This is the name that we come up with. And then we have argument, one or more arguments here. And then we have the colon. If we hit return after the colon, we'll see that it's indented. All of the workings of the function need to be included in the indented space until we come to the return. So at the end of the function, we need to return, and most typically we would return some value that we would like to return. So here, for instance, in this function, we'll do something very simple, print name, and then we can add something to the name. So for instance, name equals name plus is the best, okay? And now at the end, we can simply return name. So this function, again, it's simply fun. So now if we type fun, and for instance, we could use my dog's name, which is Phineas. Okay. Phineas is the best. Okay. So you've got the heart of the function. So it's really in the workings. So we need to think about what the goal is for a given function. So now let's go a little bit more sophisticated. We want to make a function that counts the number of letters in a sentence that we put forward. So let's create a sentence. So for instance, Temple. So there we go. Temple is in Philadelphia. That's our sentence. And what we would like to do with this sentence is step through the pieces of this sentence. But in order to do that, if we simply echo the sentence, that is, just retype it, of course, we get back what we had. But with a string, there is this this method known as split. So we can see what it does. It actually breaks this sentence up into a list with each of the words separated. So why am I doing this? Because we would like to create a function that steps through each of the words and then analyzes each of the words to look at the letters that are contained in them. So the overall goal of the function is to count the letters in the sentence that's given, or a set of words that are given. So here we're going to code up a function to count letters. Okay. To do that, again, we start with the def. So here we can give it any name we would want, but letter count is reasonable. And then we can put as an argument sentence. Again, we can use whatever we would like. Okay, so we put our colon, we get our indent. Okay, so now to step through an object, like for instance, if we want to go through this split sentence like this, word by word, we would need to use the for in structure, because for in can step through each of these these objects. So we could say for word in, and here we could say sentence. And what we'd like to do, though, is to be most general, we can split that sentence like this, okay? So just as a diagnostic, we can say print word here. And then what we'd like to do, since we're interested in the letters, we can look at for L being the letter in word. So it can pick up the word from here and now step through each of the letters in that word. And now we could initialize at the beginning a count variable here, for instance. We can call it what we like, but count is logical. We start at 0. And here, for each letter, we're going to simply add to the count. Count +1, okay? Okay, and now we can back out of each of these for loops up to the primary indent level. And this is where we will have our return and return the count, okay? So now the function's okay. When I run this cell, we don't see anything because all it is doing is checking the function to make sure that it obeys all the rules and so forth. If it does not, it will give an error. Otherwise, we don't get any output. So now we can put the function into play. So letter underscore count, and we can use the sentence that we used before, for instance. So here, so because we have the print statement here, we get each of the words separated, and we get 22 letters here. We can do the same thing with our function now. And let's say we could actually put a string here directly. So chemistry is the central science, for instance. Okay, so let's see that. So here we get this, and we get the count of letters returned. So this is the return value. This printing out occurs during the functions. So that's really all I wanted to share with you today. Hopefully you'll find this useful, and you can apply this in your coding work throughout the course. Okay, great.